The first office of Journey to New Life was at 3144 Troost, and it is so convenient for bus lines to be able to have people come to the office from there, because literally 100% of the people come by bus. And then there's some convenience things along here that our clients use a lot. The Family Dollar store, the shoe warehouse that's here, and then as we get further down here, St. James Place, which has Bishop Sullivan Center and the Job Readiness Place. Those are all things that our clients utilize. So it's very convenient.
This was our old meeting place. Veronica's Voice was on this corner, where Chris and I started. Christy Childs started this. She was a survivor, and Veronica was a friend of hers who was murdered, and so Christy has given her life honoring her friend Veronica, and she works directly with women recovering from prostitution. My coworker and I worked with her for a couple of years, and then Christy eventually moved over to Kansas. So that's what got us started on Troost.
And the people that both of our agencies serve are people who have lots of challenges in their life, and so we are there to support them as they make the changes in their lives and put their lives back together again. So it takes everybody along this corridor, including the churches that are here.
Most of our guests were removed from their families when they were very young. We have one woman who said she was kicked out of her home or dropped out of her home when she was 7 or 8. And she said it was the women working on the streets that took her in and raised her. So she tells the story of how grateful she was for these women.
This is St. James Place here on the right, which has a food pantry. It has Bishop Sullivan Center, which does job readiness. It has a medicine cabinet to help with medications. And these are all things that our clients need in order to put their life back together.
Many, not all, but many are recovering from the abuse of prostitution, meaning they do not choose this. They are owned by a pimp who took them in at a very vulnerable age, and now they are working for him to give him money. His payment to them no longer is money, it's usually drugs. So when we talk about finding these women, it's a very complex situation of who has worked with them, who owns them, how do they get it. Many of them are living in drug houses, and they're afraid to leave. So there's a great deal of overcoming fear, encouraging them to be free, and that means working very closely with the police department so that they understand these women are not criminals, but they're victims. And that's been a real challenge. That's why we use the word Justice Project, because we work equally with the justice system. Often the women, and Rose could probably agree with this, often the women that we see many of them have just come to the ends of the rope. They just said, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. Either through illness or they're just really tired of the life that they've had to live. Sometimes the police recommend that women come to us.
Mm-hmm. But it takes someone going step by step with them as they try to break out of that. Mm-hmm. And to challenge in a safe way the person that owns them. Mm-hmm. Otherwise it's just a vicious cycle. They don't know how to get out of it, and it takes somebody else like the experts with the Justice Project to be able to give them the confidence that they can break out of that.
Mm-hmm. And it's a long process. It's not like a 3-week quick fix.
One of the surprises that I've had is what you're saying, and that's the longevity of how long our women and men have been into addictions and mental illness that is part of their challenge of getting out of it. Is it's been such a lifelong habit, and it's a disease. So it takes intervention. It takes a long time to really get the confidence to get out of that.
And patience.
Yeah.
So many of our clients, our guests, have been through programs. I don't want to use any names, but there are some wonderful social service systems in the city. But usually it's like you go through a little 8-week class, and at the end of the 8 weeks they say, thank you, goodbye. Well, it takes longer than 8 weeks.
Right.
Or they'll say, you misbehaved, so we can no longer work with you. So we really try to look at the overhaul, start all over again with them. It's a long process.
And it takes looking at housing, employment, connecting with mental health and treatment, all of those things together to be able to really meet those challenges. Because if they don't have safe housing, it's hard for them to address the other issues. Well, I quickly, when I first started doing this type of ministry, decided that we give them the opportunity, and what they do with it is up to them. And it would be foolish to expect 100% are going to take that opportunity. Some just aren't ready for a variety of reasons. And I have to keep going back to that.
Yes. It's kind of a spiritual thing to say, I'm not in charge.
Right.
God has a
Right.
relationship with every one of these people.
Right.
And God's really in charge. I'm not in charge, darn it. And so to kind of just offer it up. And